Hey everyone, my name is Michelle Ngome. I'm the founder and president of the African American Marketing Association. Welcome to How to Win a Pulse Award webinar, where we're encouraging you to put your work in the right room. So today I'm going to be sharing with y'all. So today, through this slide deck, I'm going to discuss why the Pulse Awards exist, who should submit, what the judges are looking for, how to create a solid submission, as well as a few tips. Now, this is a re-recording of what we did live, so there won't be any Q&A, but if you do have any questions, please send us an email or reach out to us on LinkedIn or Instagram, and we'll get back to you with that. And we'll have that contact information at the end. So why the Pulse Awards? So if you're not familiar, the African American Marketing Association, aka AAMA, is a 501c3 nonprofit organization with the mission to educate, empower, and elevate Black marketers, creatives, and entrepreneurs. We were established in 2019, definitely involved over the past 7 years, but each year we've done something incredible, right? We are a membership-based platform. We have, I think in 21, we launched the Marketing for the Culture podcast. The following year, we've had the Marketing for the Culture Summit. So we've been doing that for 4 years, going into year 5. For 5 years, we've done the 50 Black Marketers to Watch list. The Pulse Awards comes as an evolution of that list. We have the Grow with Google certifications. So with our regular programming, we've done a ton of signature programs and projects as well. So as I stated, the Pulse Awards is an evolution of the 50 Black Marketers to Watch, where every year we would highlight Black marketers in different categories. We've gone from strategists to content creators to tech to media personalities, community champions, you name it, we try to cover it because marketing is broad. So with the Pulse Awards, we're here to elevate that recognition, right? We want to focus on individuals as well as teams, organizations that are strategic, creative, innovative, and with those campaigns and projects that have a cultural impact within their community, right? So overall, the Pulse Awards is aligned with the mission of AAMA to, once again, educate, empower, and elevate Black marketers. I think it's important to not just do the work, not to just be seen, but to make sure that there is recognition involved, because we are great at what we do. And I think from past experience, I've only submitted AAMA once for an award, 2024 Marketing for the Culture Summit Graphics, which I'll share a tidbit of that later. And listen, Dana Hewling, BID Creative, that she did amazing, outstanding work on the assets, and it was edgy, it was different. I haven't seen anything like that. Definitely not that particular year. And we weren't a finalist. And I also have heard other marketers share their experiences when it comes to submitting for these different awards and, they don't qualify. Listen, we're going to be extremely honest. The argument of, these awards are a money grab. And that's not what we're trying to do. We really want our community of Black marketers, creatives, and their work to be seen, understood, and celebrated. So what's going to make the Pulse Awards different? So we're going to be open across all industries. So I want to say not too small, not too big, right? So whether you're a 1-person team, 10-person, 100-person team, I believe we did a good job coming out the gate and have something for everybody. So all agencies, right? Marketing, creative, advertising, all agencies, all types of agencies qualify. So our brands, corporate/brands, we have an enterprise category for you. Of course, creative, whether you're a freelance or a small team, you feel confident about the work you did for yourself or for an organization, a campaign, go ahead and submit. Nonprofits, right? I feel like when it comes to nonprofits, there's a lot of emphasis on storytelling. Like any nonprofit orgs need to tell stories. Everyone needs to tell stories. So there's a lot of campaigns around that. Financial institutions. We have a lot of Black-owned banks, right? We have a dozen, a little over a dozen Black-owned banks, and sometimes it seems like our banks are too small to compete with the BOAs, Wells Fargo's, JP Morgan Chases. So we want to create a category to highlight our Black-owned banks, as well as those financial adjacent companies. So what do I mean by that? Fintech, right? There's all types of fintech apps, whether you need to save money, um, spend debt is one of them I'm thinking of. But we want to, keep that category open for them as well. Of course, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, whether you had a book launch, product launch, whatever, some kind of launch, free brand, hey, get it where you fit in. Media tech, as well as events or experiential, there's a category for that as well. Also, once again, we're built with cultural context in mind. So we're not just focused on, having a solid creative or the aesthetics, but we want that plus the story, right? We want that plus the strategy. We want to, as you submit your work, we want to understand what you delivered, especially if we haven't seen it for the first time or if it went viral, but maybe it crossed our algorithm, right? I think they cover that with the strategy and impact, community plus credibility, getting that recognition from professionals who understand the work. So we are working with a pool of judges for the specific disciplines and categories so it's third party. So no one from AAMA board, no one from the AAMA board is gonna, as well as myself, we will not be judging your work. So it's going to be a third party that's volunteering their time, their expertise when it comes to judging the work. So we definitely want to not create a conflict of interest when it comes to this process. So the time period, right? So to qualify for the Pulse Awards, your work must have launched, published, or produced between January 1st to December 31st, 2025. So your project or campaign had to be launched, ran, published, or produced in between January 1st and December 31st, 2025. So this could range from full campaign, social media, digital, visual, all of the above, brand strategy work, content series. So any type of video, TV, film, short film, podcast, email, that would be content. Community campaigns, membership campaigns, digital experiences, any type of event. So galas, festivals, summits, conferences, one-time or one-day activations, ongoing initiatives, visual identity or rebrands, and of course, social campaigns. All right, so what are the categories? So we're starting off with our strategic campaign impact. This is the first discipline. So we're going to have our B2B and B2C campaign. Those are two different ones. Best financial services campaign, best nonprofit or cause campaign, best campaign for small businesses, and best campaign for enterprise. So we broke it down like this. That way people feel adequate when they submit. I know I have been in situations where, AAMA is we're a volunteer-based nonprofit, and it is hard to compete when you have a nonprofit that may be 20, 30, 40 years old. They're fully staffed, they have budget, and it's like, man, you know, we feel some type of way. So we did our best that we could when it comes to breaking down these categories. That way you're literally um, being reviewed amongst your peers. Next, we have creative, digital, and content excellence. So this is all about branding, content, and digital storytelling that resonates. So we have our creative excellence focused on branding. That's going to be your visual identity, brand, or rebrand through design or clear positioning, right? So once again, maybe you just launched your company, or you did a logo design, you did creative work for a company, starting from scratch, or maybe a company's been established for 10 years and then helping with the rebrand. So here we have either the company can submit or that graphic designer, creative director can submit. Your creative excellence focused on content. So this is going to be all formats, right? Once again, editorial, video, audio, social media, multimedia. I think Lisa Ray just dropped that TikTok series. I think that would be a good example of what multimedia could be. It could be short film, it could be long film. I'll be honest, I don't know who's going to watch the long film. So I know this category is very broad, but we were trying to keep this concise as much as possible. And depending on what submissions look like, is something we're glad to grow into, right? So when it comes to this, we want to focus on production quality, overall creative quality, storytelling, and engagement. The Digital Experience Award, this is focused on any and all digital platforms, pretty much website, apps, as well as the creative campaigns, assets created to launch that. We want to make sure that people have a good user experience as well. Brand and strategic excellence. We're going to honor the vision, planning, and strategic thinking that drive long-term brand success. So we're going to start off with Brand Experience and Strategy Award. Brands that deliver memorable, cohesive experiences across channels through alignment, strategy, design, and execution. So we can have, in the Strategic Excellence Award, this is the thinking behind the marketing initiative. So these two categories are great when it comes to consultants and strategists. I think sometimes, let me say this, when you're a strategist, but it's only you, a team of one, right? So this might be a perfect category for you, or maybe even if you're a project manager, this might be a good category for you to submit the work that you've done. Also, before I forget, if you're submitting on behalf of the client, it is important to have permission from that client when it comes to this. All right, top honors. I think this is one that I'm really excited about. So when it comes to the creme de la creme, we have the Agency of the Year. This is where we're going to focus on your body, your portfolio of work, leadership, as well as your contributions throughout the year. The Brand of the Year, once again, brand/corporate. Also looking at your portfolio of work, leadership, and contributions in the past year. HBCU of the Year. Once again, we want to support and highlight our HBCUs, right? And I know this is going to be an interesting category because HBCUs are huge. They have so many departments, and different departments are running their own unique campaigns. So we're open how this submission can take place, whether it's coming from the business schools, coming from alumni, it's coming from the engineering program. Like we're open on how that particular school can submit, and we will do our best to evaluate accordingly. And then probably what I'm really excited about is the Creator of the Year, aka People's Choice Award. And this award, I think this one's going to be really interesting, right? So it's all about, we know there's content creators everywhere. So we want the creator to submit. The judges will vote. We want to take the top 3 to 4 creators, put them on a public platform, and then people can vote, right? So, and this, we're going to share it on social media. We could do video submissions, or excuse me, not submissions, but those creators can create videos to encourage people to vote on a regular basis. And then, of course, the person with the most votes will win. So the judging process. Sorry about that typo. So what the judges want to see, definitely want to focus on strategy, right? But the most important thing is that we're able to understand that strategy so that you're communicating your thinking clearly and in a concise manner. Execution. Now, creativity with purpose. Working in corporate, I think the thing you hear all the time is streamline communication, streamline operations. So once again, as we look at your creative, can we understand it by itself as well as with details? Cultural relevance. What is the significance of the project? I think it's a little side note. I think one of my favorite ads right now is the Jordan brand, where they had Niecy Nash as the queen. The girl sitting on the porch, she rubs her Jordan. Well, this little boy drives by, and she rubs her Jordans because they were stuffed, and then Niecy Nash comes out as her genie, right? And it's showing like all of the things that girls and women can be. And I love that, right? I love it stand by itself, and there's great significance for that. But then the backstory is they did the 90s commercial with Spike Lee, right? So cultural relevance, nostalgia, and I think those are things that are not just relevant, but you want to communicate, you want to tie those things in when you're sharing your strategy with us. And then, of course, the results and the impacts, right? So I'm not gonna say all of the metrics, but definitely sharing the important metrics to us, understanding the outcomes, the audience engagement, and the overall business performance. You're a mess. You're a mess. I'm just being bad. I'm over here trying to be great.
Hey, let me give you love. It's love, not greatness.
All right. So this is what happens when you're recording at Hilton Americas and people see you. Sorry about that, y'all. All right. The Pulse Awards. Okay. So for your submission, this is a solid format. I think an easier format. Now we do have all of these things on our website, so you can download the guidelines. So we want to start off with the entry title, award category, entry information, pretty much who is the point of contact, who is submitting the information, the project overview. So side note, what I would encourage you to do, I prefer Google Docs, but you probably want to type this out on a document, and then you can copy and paste it over, or you can download and submit that document, right? I will say for the project overview, since it's less than 250 words, we do have on the form, there is space for that. So then you could just copy and paste that over, right? Next, we have the objective, the audience, your target audience. insight and strategy, creative execution, results and impact, and then credit as far as listing out all of the team members and titles involved. All right, so here are some examples of what the submission template will look like. So once again, I mentioned how Dana created the summer graphics for 2024. This is a small preview. So we have the program, we have the agenda, signage, a notepad, and some more signage, right? And another thing, like putting this together, a lot of the stuff you have, especially if you do events or sponsorships, one, you have your initial creative brief. Two, you have your event recap, right? Or a recap of the campaign or the project. But I understand it takes time compiling the information as well as the assets to make it fit for the post awards. All right, so this is some of the press we got that year. So we have Houston Style Magazine, we have HubSpot blog posts, and then we have brand and culture, right? So got Houston nationwide, and brand and culture based in Atlanta, but I would say definitely leaning towards regional nation. So video testimonials. So in 23 and 24, we had HP as a sponsor. They gifted a laptop each year. So these are two of the women that won. And we put those, I think one of them put the video on her YouTube. And then of course the other one on Instagram. So making those images clickable links. And then just general pictures of the audience for this particular event. Now, this is one example I got from ChatGPT as far as what a submission board would look like. I thought this was a great breakdown. I thought it was a simple breakdown, right? But I like how they labeled each of the assets from social media, video, website, merchandise, print, billboard. I thought it was perfect. And here's a second example, pretty much the same difference of another submission board. So when it comes to the submissions, we said it shouldn't be more than 5 pages, and it should be in a PDF format. So if you can put it in landscape, that's great. I do think it depends on how detailed you want to get when it comes to your campaign stuff. So I think if you obviously the brand and organization, I think this is perfect, right? But then I think when it gets to when you want to get into the details of the execution, relevance, results, these details, if you want to have that on a different document, I'm going to say basic Word documents, obviously save as a PDF. So the rationale is if you have those details, that can possibly take about 1.5 to 2 pages. And then you have 3 additional pages where you can put the assets laid out, which would give you a total of 5 pages, right? Once again, we want to be concise in this process. And then we also want to be easy and user-friendly when it comes to AAMA receiving this material, and then 2, passing on the information to the judges as they take their time to review it. Okay, so once again, 1 to 5 pages, PDF format, landscape would be great. If it's not, completely understand, but please no more than 5 pages. Make sure you file your document correctly, or excuse me, save your document correctly so it's easy for us to understand, and we can assign it to the dedicated judge. Keep it organized. Content should be concise, clear, and complete. Allow visuals to support the story. And feel free to use any supporting materials. Obviously, your initial digital campaign assets, with media coverage, testimonials, video screenshots, etc. It's great. All right, so the submission timeline. So early entries from April 20th to May 17th, which I believe is Sunday. AAMA members do get a discounted rate. So if you're an AAMA member, you can submit for the $85 or the lower rate compared to a non-member. Regular entry is from May 18th to June 14th. AAMA members may submit at 1:35. Late entry is from June 15th to June 28th, and AAMA members may submit at 1:85. Right? And then non-members at 2:45. So finalists, winners, and benefits. I think with anything, anytime that you win an award or you're honored with an award, obviously increase the visibility, getting in front of a different audience, brand authority, improve client trust. Definitely with a little bit of ego stroke and some validation as an individual as well as a teamwork. Could be some great PR opportunities as well and strengthen the recruiting of the organization. So I will say this, we definitely want to have a great night. So the Pulse Awards is going to be on the back of the Marketing for the Culture Summit. So usually the summit takes place in first week of June. We're pushing it back. So the Marketing for the Culture Summit kickoff reception will be Wednesday, August 26th in the evening. The summit will take place during the day on Thursday, and the award ceremony will take place Friday, August 28th in the evening. All of this is in Houston, Texas, right? We want this to be a true award show. We want, so the way that night's going to go, if all things go well, all things considering, right? You walk in, the finalist will have a campaign gallery room. So the submissions that you provide to us, we want to blow those up. And kind of have like an art gallery. So everyone can come in and we walk through that room and look at the submissions, right? Of those finalists. And then we're gonna go upstairs. The night's gonna begin. We will have food. I feel like it's gonna be a mini gala. It's like a hybrid between reception and gala, but there will be food, okay? So it's gonna be a great show, right? With that being said, we want to name the finalist and then announce the winner on stage, right? And then that winner can come up with his or her team, and then one person can say a speech, hopefully 60 to 90 seconds. But hey, I know how we are. I know how we are. But we really do want to celebrate, recognize, and honor everyone, as much work as possible, right? And then we want to have one or two activations there for everybody, and then that's at least one dedicated to the winners. So we do have a press release that's going on right now, but also once the winners are announced, we will definitely have a press release going out a few days after, like that, whatever that. But I'll say a few days after because I know we're running into that Labor Day. But we will have another press release going out. We will have specific photos for the winners also going out. We want this night to be special. We want this event to be special. And we as a community of Black marketers, creators, and entrepreneurs, we deserve to have something like this and to make it special. Okay. So as we go into the final steps, please visit our website, thepulseawards.org, review all of the categories, get in where you fit in, right? You can submit to more than one category. It will cost you you will have to pay for each submission, right? So if you want to if you want to submit for two categories, it's going to be $85 twice, or it's going to be $195 twice. And I will say, the more times you submit, that does not increase your chance of winning. Once again, the judges going to have a third party group of judges reviewing based off of their scoring. That would determine if you're a finalist. So each project, each campaign will be reviewed differently. It will not what's the way to say it? One category, if you submit for two categories, it won't impact each other. It's essentially what I'm saying. Hope that makes sense. All right. So once again, stay organized, compile your materials. I do think it's an easy process. Once you compile everything, it's an easy process. I think you could literally complete our form within less than 10 minutes if you know exactly what you wanted, right? So once again, since this is a recording, there's no questions. But if you do have any questions, please contact us. This is my personal email address, which is fine. Or you can send us a message on Instagram or LinkedIn with any questions. We'll be glad to get to you. And I say we because multiple people manage their accounts. I think we're very responsive. We do know that there's a price to this, so we want to be kind and efficient when it comes to answering questions. That way no one feels like they're being taken advantage of. Right? So I want to thank you for listening to this recording. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for supporting AAMA. I want to thank you for supporting the Pulse Awards. Tickets will go on sale June 1st. This will be a ticketed event. For those finalists, we will take care of them when it comes to tickets and tables and things of that nature. I want this to be great, but it can only happen with your support, and I thank you in advance for your support.